Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center. And thank you for joining me up here on our elevated platform of living, where your music and the world of magic and miracles is very much alive. It's the place where your perspective of everything is in a much higher frequency, a higher vibration. Welcome to your world of magic and miracles. I call out to everyone as family, our family. By now, you must realize the importance of your presence as the charter member of this emerging industry of magic and miracles. And as charter members with firsthand information, we cannot help but be the bearer of good news and good times, and that are coming via Swisindo and have arrived, and so much more. I forgot something here. Yeah, our advanced intelligence is opening our vision. And now it continues with our advanced intelligence brought us to these broadcasts. Every Sunday, you listen to the details of the Advancement Center's new financial division and my introducing you to UN Swisindo, a new name for most people. You heard the real story about JFK's assassination, why the UN has no president, and President Sukarno formed the UN in 1945, and every reference to President Sukarno has been buried. You heard about the Green Hilton Agreement between JFK and President Sukarno to transfer the gold from the Federal Reserve, a private corporation, back to the Treasury and the people just 5 days before the assassination. That was 55 years ago. So many remember that day. You also might recall my telling you about how in 1887, 25 sovereign kingdoms came together to protect the world collateral in trust for the people of the world under one name. And that name, UN Swisindo, which holds all the keys, codes, and accounts and certificates for all the world's collateral, protected by the person we have been calling M1, meaning monetary one. That was new to me. President Sukarno was the first M1. 1 month before his death, he was under CIA house arrest and denied medical treatment. He transferred through his lawyer at the right time, and all was given to the current M1, who has been falsely held in prison. The work has continued, and now the breakthrough moment that I promised you on the invitation. Can you hear my excitement? This past Thursday, I received an email from Susan, the Secretary General of our National and International Ministry of Humanitarian Assistance. It was a media release that was circulating via the 20 million volunteers around the globe, and it's happening at this moment, and you're hearing it now. We are told to share it far and wide. And also, remember, it was discovered that $70 trillion was stolen by corporations who promised third world countries assistance. They turned World Bank grants into loans. And when the country couldn't pay it back, the corporation took land and resources, thereby depleting an already poor country and subsequently called land grabbers. M1 has forgiven all those debts, amounting to $70 trillion, with many countries involved. There will be a peace treaty signed. Now, I'm reading all my notes about when I'm supposed to show you what. Okay. Yeah, personally, I've always been feeling the acceptance and also the non-acceptance of all this information. And now I will read you M1's message. Circle the world and the people created by God Almighty with peace. Abolish all forms of colonization of human value and dignity, and human slavery through the banking system, which must be eliminated with the implementation of UN Swissindo programs 1 through 11. And here is the media release, all marked up. And it's very exciting because all of those funds will now be used for all those payments that I've been promising you since July 15th of this year. And the best part says, UN Swissindo, through the International Development Association in Indonesia, a facet of the World Bank Group, has launched a campaign to disperse misplaced funds dating back to 1961 to allotted countries, starting with a province in Indonesia. Yeah. Following an audit, which he ordered, of the World Bank, it was determined that the governments, as country organizers and public servants, have been the victims of the global political system, where it was said Indonesia, and then it goes on and on about Indonesia, but $70 trillion will now be allotted to the people who deserve it. And that's you. Have you downloaded your M1 voucher from Swissindo.news and your debt burden relief certificate? Liberation certificate. It's coming now. And no one is going to be able to say, Swissindo? What is that? Oh, that's a scam. No way. It's too big. Yeah. God, I don't want to read through all of this, but it is so exciting. And anyone who would like to see this media release, just email me and I will be delighted to send it to you so that you could read all the details. There is something that was kind of exciting that I read to Robert before, and that is, okay, the UN Swissindo programs are already underway. The release of public community debt burden and the provision of life insurance, which means your basic income of $1,200 a month for life, for every person in the world, which has been introduced to the community based on UN Swissindo's highest institution. Now, the final audit of the Committee of 300 Infinite Bank Statements the World Bank Group, United Nations, 2012. Okay. And I'm going to read this because it's so important. And then we'll see how many of you remember your history in high school. Via the movement of God Almighty, the dynamics of Sukarno's speech for independence Yeah, Sukarno's speech was delivered, and M1 is always honoring Sukarno. Sukarno made this speech on June 1st, 1945, when Indonesia gained independence from the Dutch. Remember, Dutch in Indonesia? He was also appointed the first Indonesian president for life by the people. And the first thing he did as a president of Indonesia, he formed the UN. That's the beginning of that big building near the East River in New York City. So that's pretty important. So all these things I've been promising you have now come to pass. And that is the media release. So there. Now it's interesting because last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I told you about a letter that Susan had prepared for us to walk into the bank and tell them about the debt burden liberation certificate. And now I can use the letter because they will have seen the media release and they know that we're speaking the truth. That's exciting. That's wonderful. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to let you know that, Swisindo has been the finest vehicle for me to take care of our universal family. And Swisindo will provide all basic needs to everyone on the planet, and that's 7.5 billion people. So here is what your M1 voucher looks like. You've seen it every Sunday. But this time, take it out because its time has come. And put your picture right there. And thumbprint, do not sign. And I'll keep you posted. And the other one is the debt burden. And for those who don't know that, I'm going to say it again because it makes me so happy that the moment you were born, your Social Security represented money that has been traded on for years, borrowed against, and then you've gone into banks and made loans and you paid it back with interest. No, all your debts are paid. Remember that. They're paid. And pretty soon you'll be able to walk into the bank and say, cancel all my debts. And say it because you know it's true. And nothing is premature. So we've already said that the individual will get $1,200 a month for life. And up until the age of 17, a school-age child will get $600 a month until they're 17. And then they join the adults. Not only that, but M1 is taking care of not only the individual debt burden liberation, but the corporate debt burden liberation up to $2 billion. And there's a country quota to help the countries and their governments. And that's 138,990,000,000,000 for each country. It's a good thing they've printed that out because I don't know all those zeros. And then guess what? Even the banks are going to be getting some help to the tune of 138 trillion 990 billion. And then you've heard me talk about the Venus Project. Well, now it's going to start. Yes. And this is the construction of the universe by Mr. Jacques Fresco. And he's the mastermind of this magnificent project, which represents the culmination of his life's work, the integration of the best of science and technology within a comprehensive plan for a global society based on human and environmental concern will soon be ours to enjoy, and it has already begun. You know, every week I've been talking about things are not getting worse. They're getting uncovered. Well, they pulled off the cover and it's here. And Swissindo is no longer a funny word that nobody really gets, but it's real. And you heard it first here. We are given the opportunity to have a front row seat, taking an action if we choose, and not having to accept the media's slant anymore. It is with pleasure that I can pass along to you these actual happenings, never to be fooled again. And tonight, Susan Terry and I will be welcoming Margie Barrows as she joins Swissindo. So our little band of people is growing, and hopefully there'll be more coming. Let me know. What an amazing feeling to know that we're doing what I have always known to be true, helping others, bringing peace to the world, and becoming so much more. This is not a teaching. It is you who have come from your origin, bringing your gifts to the world of magic and miracles, established and maintained by each and every one of you. This next should be, and perhaps will be, a song that was written by David. And here it is. What if I told you that you are perfect? What if I told you that you are brilliant? What if I told you that you are harmonious? What if I told you that you were the one, that you were perfection, that you were the sun? What if I told you that I see through your fright, that you're brilliantly brilliant behind your eyes? So much light. What if I told you that all the beauty I see is pouring out from your heart when you decide to just be yourself with a smile on your face, a sparkle in your eye? You change the world with your grace. What if I told you that you have all that you need, health, wealth, and love, all inside your own being? And what if I told you that, like Jesus, you are the sum of all that is, a majestic, shining star? I've come here to tell you how brilliant you are, how perfect, how beautiful. You've traveled so far to share all your gifts with a smile on your face. So magnificent you are beyond all time and space. Yes, I've come here to tell you I see you inside your heart. Please believe me when I tell you, you've been brilliant from the start. Thank you, David. And another gift from David is called the Big Bang. The world is poised for a shift to happen, a big event, but it is more subtle than you can imagine, for it is happening inside of you. Inside your own personal world is the perfection that you seek outside it. Look inside, for the event you are seeking is happening right now, without fanfare and without an announcement on national television. Quietly and lovingly, and sometimes not so quietly, in the stillness of perfection, millions of particles are rearranging themselves to be able to receive the new frequencies and the new energies. You can feel yourself expanding, and it has nothing to do with what's going on outside of you. You are transcending all imperfection, all disharmony, and all separation. You are gently and sometimes not so gently moving away from the reality of time and space, and there is nothing that is able to stop it. Not me, not you, and not the so-called beings of control and domination. You are moving to the new you at the pace that is right for you. And the Big Bang that we have always heard about is exploding inside of you. This is the shift. This is the event. And when the only thing you see and feel is the perfection of your world from inside yourself, then and only then will you be able to see and feel the perfection of the world outside yourself. And you will show the way for all humankind through the medium of the world of magic and miracles and the elevated platform of living. Thank you, David. Last week, I told you about those two magical CDs I found of Robert giving an all-day retreat, seminar, workshop, call it what you want. All I heard was joy. And it took place in Ken Farber's house in Vallejo, California, outside of San Francisco. Yeah. We translated it into Dragon, and I've been working to de-dragon it. I don't know if you know what that means, but it comes out strange, and then I have to carefully knit together what Robert really said, according to the CD. So last week, we ended, and if for anyone's on the call today and you didn't receive last week's recording, I'll be very happy. It's still available. It ended with, don't look at what is in the mirror, look at what's in the heart, and you'll know you can do anything instantly. Our purpose here today is to elevate that to way beyond the mind, and as I worked with it slightly here and there, you'll feel it lifting out of your field, and the further it goes out of your field, the better, because then it's growing automatically. We're talking about self-healing and the magic of the body that houses your being. It has no sense except a beautiful feeling of regeneration with no need to focus on it. Just to enjoy the absolute enjoyment is what you know you were promised. So in that infinite trust, you'll feel it. And now, this week, Robert continues with the reason I'm going in this direction is because very, very shortly, there will be things coming into everybody's life that they won't understand. There will be interactions with other people, interactions with what they think of visions and thoughts, feelings, and other aspects of the world that you never knew were there. To do that, you need that excitement. You need that youth, and you need that infinite trust. As soon as I say infinite trust, you find you can drop the word need. It disappears straight away. So the purpose of us going through everything and pointing it out is so that the word need will disappear. Because it's the only thing that's in front of you that stops everything about you from being you. And it's not a brain function. It's an actual physical function that happens around infinite trust because the need is what produces the concepts. And the concepts build all the things in our lives that we have to maintain. Builds all the restrictions that happen because we've already built a structure we think works, and we can go on and on and on, and it just builds out into a massive structure that each one of you are carrying around. And because we carry around these massive structures, we run into one another all the time and disturb one another's picture. Infinite trust. With infinite trust, it all falls away. And you do not have to do anything. And you do not have to trust. It's a whole different thing. When I spoke last week, I went over and over the infinite trust so that it became a matrix. And it became real in every dimension. And each time we mention it now, you can feel it in your heart at such a subtle difference to everything else you felt in your heart. And it holds you steady no matter what, because it goes beyond every concept. Even your concept of God, it is really you. So we use many words about all sorts of things, and we can come back to what happens to us in everyday life. And we can look at each thing and analyze and try and make it work. It's best if you just look at it and smile, feel your infinite trust, and watch what you do. You'll amaze yourself. You'll find that you're the observer to everything you do, everything you know, everything you feel, and you don't have to do anything. It will happen because of the beautiful structure of the body we've been given and the magic that drives it, and most of all, the magic that it produces. That is not us. That is our body. So we get everything upside down occasionally in the things that your body does for you, and it is magnificent. The feelings and the sensations that it feeds back because you are there. Magnificent So your body is acknowledging your presence all the time. We've been called, so we look at how everything works. We get ourselves in an endless loop. But if we just observe both our divine essence and our body in all its glory start to perform together and put on a show for us that you wouldn't believe. And all we need is that infinite trust. And in that infinite trust, there is everything. Thank you, Robert. I can't wait till the next portion. Okay. So things happen, and you find yourself on a roll, and you find yourself wanting to share every wonderful thing that's happening. And recently, as Genya brought my attention to it, this little book has been an amazing magic instrument. And there is another way. And when everything seems so bleak and dark in the world, Robert kept saying, nope, there's another way. Everything happens through magic and miracles. And then I got the idea that I would love to do an audiobook. You might have guessed by now, I love speaking Robert's words and David's words. So I decided to start. And it was wonderful because the minute we started showing Robert's books on the broadcast, beautiful orders have come in from people who are picking up on the love and the joy. So here's the opening of what will become the audiobook, There Is Another Way. Chapter 1. In preparation for the future, and in keeping with the major changes appearing in the world, I would like to open to everyone the possibility that there is another way. This possibility applies to everything we do, say, think, organize, create, and experience in our everyday life, and is not a derivative of anything we know at the present time. It comes from the unknown and appears in the physical world because of our presence and has nothing to do with any system, process, or belief that we hold or adhere to. It is inherent in our being and so dear to each of us that we dare not mention anything about it for fear of being misunderstood. Each one of us has a knowing of this possibility and are, in our own way, certain that it not only exists, but that it will be more than a possibility in our lives and in our very near future. Each one of us knows that it not only exists, it is with us and available through us in the physical world right now without any new knowledge, training, or guidance. All we need is the inclination to be ourselves and to move our focus to our unique presence and the sparkle that it brings to our lives and the lives of all who experience it. Thank you. I can't wait to get started on this project. Thank you for listening to the opening. Last week, I held a surprise for you. And I shared a recent writing by Robert, and no one had heard it. That was very exciting for me. It's always exciting. In fact, I think the most exciting part of my morning is to open my eyes and hear Robert at his keyboard writing. I sent the latest writing to David. I guess it was, should I include this in the broadcast on Sunday? And this is what I received. Or I should say, Robert received. Brilliant. Brilliant. It's so incredible and so timely. I feel as though the message is resonating more and more freely with each transmission. It's as if all resistance has been moved because you can feel yourself floating on the river of life that is running just under the words. It's hard to explain because it's a feeling. It's a knowing that is connecting you beyond all thoughts and understanding. The knowingness is full and feels complete, like a great meal. And you are left with a feeling of completion, which leads to excitement and joy without even understanding why. Something is so very different with these transmissions now. It feels as though the signal is more refined, while at the same time being stronger. It's beyond masterful. Humanity is being brought to its rightful place in the universe, and there is nothing that can stop it. Thank you, David. So here are the last two writings of Robert for you to experience. This was Friday, November 16th, 2018. And Robert wrote, "There are many opportunities to look into the future and see nothing that is obvious. This is what you are finding now, because there is nothing that can be connected to your life at the present moment. Continue to look, and you will get a glimpse of something that is not expected, just like you do when you look at the clouds or the surrounding landscape. There are images just for you in every part of your life and every part of nature. In the same way, there are images in the future that seem to have no structure, even though they attract you and stand out as an image that is connected to nothing in particular. These images are seeds that you have sown to attract a new aspect of life. They seem to be few and far between, but they sometimes appear as a great idea or a possibility that has no real grounds apart from a deep feeling inside of you. The future is active in your life right now. Even though you cannot qualify or quantify what is happening from the logical physical plane, there is, however, much to look for in every moment if you agree to activate the future as a significant part of your life that needs nurturing. In the same way, you would nurture seeds that have just been planted in the ground. Your ability to bring the future into the light of day is the same as your ability to bring plants into the light of day. The fragility of a germinating future is the same as the fragility of a plant, and its ability to survive depends largely on your continued observation and attention when needed. Maintaining the soil and surrounding environment is essential if you intend to have a good crop. And maintaining the medium that can hold the future is essential if you are to have a dynamic and healthy future. The condition of your life and the environment that you generate with every movement, interaction, and decision in your life can and will determine what can be seen in the future and what can be germinated into reality at the appropriate time. Make room for the most exotic future you can imagine, and you will start to see indicators that something special is growing somewhere in your field. Allow these indicators to have space in your world and maintain your environment to the level you know to be appropriate. In no time at all, you will experience the positive feeling of a germinating future that has form and character sufficient to influence your life and the events of your personal world. I love that. And here is the latest. Robert wrote this yesterday, and everyone has not heard it except David. November 17th, 2018. Robert wrote, "The movement of words has become one of the most efficient and suitable ways for you to elevate every part of your life to where you feel the perfection of what is flowing through and around you. Right now, you are aware of the need for that flow to support your physical framework. But the real purpose of writing is far beyond what your body feels when it is carrying the load that it thinks is real. Every time there is a movement away from what has been accepted as normal, there is a reaction from your body that signals that something is wrong, even though there is nothing wrong. This is easily overcome by writing, but once again, it is not the purpose for writing. There is a flow that is needed in the world, and it comes from the unknown, where your true existence as a majestic being is known and accepted in every way. This flow is transformed into timeless data as you perform the translation with your hands. The messages held within the translation cover all situations and all needs, and there is no other source of such majestic data. The meaning changes, as if it is delivering a new set of words to cover each event and personality, and the function of time never appears to have any significance in declaring the messages current or out of date. So the message your body feels is simply a stiff push to bring you online and open the channels that are needed in this world. From this point, there is nothing more to say because the channels are open and you are translating the words at a rapid pace to bring the flow that is needed in the world. The format of all your writing can be seen as something different each time you sit down to the computer. But there is always that sense that something is being delivered that has no words. This will continue, and you will not even notice that there is a thread that connects everything to your origin and the source of everything for every individual. There is a movement in the wind that is being felt by everyone, even in the physical plane. And this is the first time when time has significance because the change is happening in the physical plane. The effect of the change will be felt throughout the universe, and it will apply as a timeless and infinite change that will imprint itself in every part of the universal structure of life. Humanity is about to realize its function as a significant entity in the world, and it will withdraw from the systems of the world and impose the unwritten and unknown standards of the original human entity. This will include all the multidimensional capabilities that have been manipulated into servitude from the beginning of time. Feel the movement and the force that allows you to take giant steps in the world of your creator, and you will capture the great gifts that you know as yours and deliver them to yourself in the physical plane. Use the advanced intelligence that allows you to work beyond technology, needing nothing but your own being and the massive capability of the many billion strong personalities known as the human entity. Know you are not alone and move with the force of the multitude, which you will soon come to know as your family. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you. Thank you, Robert, for what you bring. And thank you for joining me today. I wish you perfect health and perfect life. And enjoy that magic future that you are sowing the seeds of right now. Thank you.